I've just finished being a panelist on one of the live webcasts from the IFA around life after COVID and what next for advisors. And while I was preparing what I was going to share, it really struck me that, if you were having any challenges in your business before COVID, so maybe you were at capacity and really struggling to fulfill all the needs of your clients, maybe you weren't really communicating or accessible or proactive enough, maybe you didn't really understand what offer you had to bring to the table, or maybe it wasn't priced right. Maybe you were struggling to get new clients on board or finding that you just weren't getting the referrals that you needed. If you had any of those problems before COVID, I'm gathering that COVID just exacerbated them, because all of a sudden you're now attending to all of your existing clients and looking after them and what's going on. That any challenges you had in the business, you weren't spending time focusing on them, right? And nor should you have. You had other things to do. But now that things are starting to get back to a different reality, then this is the time that if ever you are going to invest in your business, it's now. If you've ever thought, wow, gee, I've got to get my processes nailed, or I've got to get some different ways that I can deliver what I do, so a couple of different service packages, so to speak. I've got to look at my pricing, or I've got to look at, having a more proactive referral strategy. Like I said, if ever there was a time or a time when you needed to do it, this is the best time, because those problems are only going to get worse. And it's kind of like if you give a kid a lollipop every day for a week and then you stop doing it, you're going to get a pretty grumpy kid. So you can't have been really attentive and really accessible and proactively communicating with clients over COVID and then all of a sudden stop doing it, okay? It's going to be a couple of clients that will go, wow, you're all over me. I loved it. Now you're nowhere to be seen. So a lot of businesses are thinking, well, what do I want? What am I trying to build? Why am I doing this? And that's really going back to the fundamentals, back to the foundation. So who are you doing it for? What are you doing? So what is your offer? How are you delivering it, and how are you pricing it so that it's profitable for you, but it's also affordable to the client? Does it look different to the way that you were doing things pre-COVID? Because I'm assuming that there are now going to be opportunities to do things differently. And what about staffing? If you're at capacity and you didn't have the right processes or you weren't using technology, you've now given it a go. You've experienced remote working. You've experienced doing virtual meetings. Is that going to now form part of business as usual going forward? Or was that something that you just did in COVID? This is the time to really get your head down and thinking about what do you want, how do you want to build it, and investing the time and effort in now. Because we're not out of COVID. Things are going to keep changing, and if ever we get another crazy that just hits us in the face like this, you don't want to just survive it. You want to embrace it and take it to the next level. So, if someone suffers a critical illness, of course they want to survive it, but typically they don't just want to survive it. They want a whole different life after it. They want to live differently as a result of whatever they've gone through. Same thing, as a result of what you've just gone through. What do you want to change? What do you want to do differently so that you can really build that business that makes you proud, the one you deserve for all of the hard work, the blood, sweat and the tears for owning and operating an advice business? And if you need a hand, let me know. There's lots of different ways that I could help you, either through virtual workshops or one-on-one coaching, to make this happen for you. But whatever you do, remember, you are valuable and this is your time to shine.